Good evening, listeners. Tonight we're diving into a headline that has captured the attention of the New York Times. Opinion: is this the fastest opinion shift in American politics? The subject, a newly emerging rift between tech giants and the everyday citizen, centered on the rapid rise of opposition to local artificial intelligence data centers. I'm David Wallace Wells, a columnist for the Times Magazine and a contributor to the New York Times opinion section, and I'm joined by Robinson Meyer, an opinion writer and the founding executive editor of Heatmap, an environmental news outlet that's been following this backlash closely. Robinson, thanks for joining me. Robinson Meyer, thanks, David. It's great to be here. David, so let's set the scene.
1 year ago, the public was almost evenly split on whether a data center should be built near their homes.
Fast forward to today, and 7 in 10, that's 70% Americans say they don't want an AI data center close to where they live.
That's a 50-point swing.
In political science terms, that's huge, larger than the typical reversal when a new president takes office or even when a country declares war. Robinson, absolutely, David. And it's not just about numbers, it's a new front in politics. We're seeing a nascent populist movement that's emerging almost out of the blue.
The question is whether this coalition of citizens opposed to data centers can be channeled into something productive, something that can influence the Democratic Party's platform in the next election cycle.
David, and that leads to a bigger question about the political economy of big tech and AI.
Even if we recognize that data centers are essential for powering our AI infrastructure, there's a demand for democratic control.
People are now demanding that control over their neighborhoods and their local environment.
The pushback hasn't just been about noise or power consumption, it's about ownership, local impact, and who gets to decide what's built on your land.
Robinson, exactly. And the scale of this shift is astonishing. Contrasted with previous public opinion swings, the 50-point gap is unprecedented in the last few decades. It suggests a re-evaluation of the relationship between technology firms and the communities they operate in.
David, policing the technology landscape is now a political issue, and it's proving to be a significant one.
If we look at the trend, it's clear that public sentiment can move dramatically. The question is, where will this momentum go? Will it create new policy proposals around data centers that focus on local benefits? Will we see proposals for community ownership models or tax incentives aimed at public benefit? Robinson, those are possibilities, David.
Also, this shift is happening at a time when the public discourse about AI feels more urgent. There's a sense that if these data centers keep expanding unchecked, they could become symbols of corporate overreach, much like the oil and gas discourse has been in the past.
David, the significance of this conversation is not just that something is changing but that it is happening so quickly.
In a country as politically fragmented as ours, a 50-point swing in a specific issue exemplifies how the civic conversation can pivot under new circumstances. Robinson, and while we can't predict whether the Democratic Party will adopt a platform that actively supports local data center projects with community safeguards, the fact remains that citizens are talking, they're protesting, and they're voting on this topic more than on vaccination or climate change, at least for the first time.
David, in a few minutes, think about how we built conversational, perhaps even nervous but always human, and unlikely political front in a heritage of bent-fair reality about power, technology, and communities. Robinson, we'll still need to watch how it transforms public policy. David, that's all for tonight. Thank you for listening.
Until next week, I'll leave you with a bit of feed forward. The faster an opinion can shift, the faster a policy has to, because the engaged citizen will hardly wait.
Thank you for tuning in and stay curious. Good night.